In building programs, you go through a lot of times like this. And to me, I really get a sense that the Pac-12 stepped up. And just like this game, when Stanford steps up in the game, there's times we don't step up with them. We haven't stepped up a lot of times this year, and it's cost us. It sometimes gets frustrating where you have certain guys on their game, other guys are not there, and in the next game, that guy's on, that guy's off. That's all part of the process that you have to go through. So we're going to take tomorrow off, regroup them again, and our rallying cry this week, obviously, is try to get a win for these seniors before we get out of here in this last home game on Sunday. I thought we did not play particularly well offensively in the first half of this ball game. We shoot 61% from the field the second half, but was just in too much of a hole, and we let Stanford get away from us, I thought, and giving them way too many good looks from the three, and it cost us the game.
This has probably been a really difficult week for you. Did it kind of put things in perspective of how minimal this losing streak is compared to some of the other stuff?
Well, a couple of things with that. I've gone through this before with my dad, where I had to literally go bury my dad and send one of my Oregon teams to Buffalo and met them there in the NCAA tournament. So I think, again, as our parents age and those decisions have to be made in terms of parents giving up their independence and all those things, you have to go through it. Unfortunately, we're in a profession that when it hits during the season, you've got everything else you have to be responsible for. There's nothing you can do but handle it to the best of your ability. Whether or not it puts the losing streak in perspective, I really don't look at it as a losing streak. What this is doing to me this year with this group is telling me what we need to do, what I need to do as a coach, the type of personnel I still need to bring in the door to stay connected to the conference, the toughness of it, the intelligence of it, and it also tells me about the loyalty of a community. I think it's fantastic that people continue to come out and support this team. So for us, in terms of looking at the program as a whole, you are constantly evaluating, tweaking, building until we get it to the point where we can all reap the rewards of the W's and having some success. So you really, and I really can't let myself, as hard as it is on these young people, we try to continue to bring them back, because you've got to keep working, you got to keep grinding, you have to keep growing. Even if it's individual growth by certain players, that's a reward enough right now until we get the, again, personnel, system, whatever you want to call it, in place that can stay connected to the conference. And this conference has stepped up big time over the course of the last couple of years.
There have been a number of these games, maybe even a majority, where you guys have taken the early lead, made the initial possessions count. Why don't you think you've been able to sustain it?
Well, as I continue to look at the same tape again and again and again, some skilled things get away from us where we make some mistakes. Some experienced things get away from us where we don't sustain our mental toughness to do some things, and we break down as well too. And again, the last piece of any program that you're rebuilding that has been mirrored in some losing seasons is to change that mentality, because it can sit on you so much. And that's the thing we're fighting through right now with seniors that are leaving your program that have really not had an opportunity to have success. They were your leaders, and the group before them who were the leaders didn't have success. So what is the blueprint? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it act like? That's the piece we're trying to put into place as we grind through this and fight through this. When we do get it there, those that will have survived all of this, boy, you're talking about being better off and being nails tough when they understand how hard it took to get it there, because it's hard. It's hard getting it there, and we're pushing these young people as much as we can push them, but yet putting our arms around and support them too, because I know where they're going times when they don't even see the vision. But my job as a leader is to keep that vision in front of me, and I have it well in front of me.
As far as a springboard into the offseason, how important is it to find a few positive games in these last 4 or 5 or 6?
It's extremely important to, again, continue to have the individual growth, even if you're not, because the individual growth will help you with your team growth. For instance, last week when Q played his best basketball since I've been here. Nye Redding played his best game since I've been here. Brett Bass played his best game since I've been here. Those are miniature victories, even though we didn't get a team victory. We let a Colorado game get away. I thought we could have won this ball game. I wish we had a shot at better. I wish we had been a little bit more locked in and not let the three-pointers get away from us that they had. So it's important that you grow individually, but it's also important that you feel some team things starting to happen as you move into the spring. The spring takes you into the summer. The summer tour then takes you into next year.
When you talk about the personnel you need to bring in to stay connected, is that obvious to you at this point, what kind of guys you need to bring in? And looking at the Pac-12 this year as opposed to the past years, what kind of guys you need to bring in to stay competitive?
I think the biggest thing is not only just looking at the Pac-12, because it is, if not the toughest, certainly the second toughest conference out there. And when you talk about looking the part of a team that's in the hunt for a championship, we know there's some pieces we still need to add to that. Some of it has to do, a lot of it has to do with skill, just getting the ability to let things, getting pieces that will make you everybody else better, I should say, around them. More so than the guy coming in really good by himself. What piece is that makes everyone better? And with Milan coming in next year, there's a good start to that as well as Pollard. Those are two really skilled basketball players. So we've just got to stay the course and keep grinding.